excited to be able to introduce our resident nutritionist. Maggie Bell is a registered dietitian and registered nurse with a decade of experience working for state agencies and private institutions. Maggie initially started working as a registered dietitian, but 2 years in, she realized she had a desire to help more people and increase her knowledge. She went to school in 2015 at Baptist Health and earned her degree in nursing. She has worked in the intensive care unit for the majority of her nursing career. Unfortunately, in the critical care setting, many people are fighting for their lives and are not able to receive and implement the information that they need in order to live healthier lives. That is the idea behind Maggie Bell Nutrition and Wellness. Help people now while they are able and willing to be helped. I introduce to you without further ado, Maggie Bell.
All right, Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year. My name is Maggie Bell. I'm a registered nurse and a registered dietitian, and I have my own nutrition business where I specialize in weight loss and blood sugar management. So I want to thank you all so much for being here. A lot of times we have a lot of other activities going on Saturday, so I really do appreciate you all taking time to be here today to learn about how you can jumpstart your health for the new year, which is our topic. So I'm going to provide you with 3 practical ways to jumpstart your health and reach your goals. So who feels like they could use that? They can use this information. All right. All right. Well, you're in the right place. So in this presentation, we're going to identify, rewire, and rebuild. Identify, rewire, and rebuild. So the first step is to identify. So we're going to identify the problem. What has been holding us back from achieving our goals? So how many of you all set New Year's resolutions every year? At the start of the year, you're like, I'm one of those. At the start of the year, I'm like, okay, this is my year. Like December, I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, this is my year. I'm going to do this year. And I'm like writing my list out. And so I'm like, January 1st or, whatever day I say, I'm going to be good to go. So how many hands of people are like me? So not everybody, but enough for you all to understand what I'm saying. So talk to me. I want a couple people to share. What are some of the goals that you have set for yourself in the past? I want to hear from y'all. Anyone? Okay, Sister Jones. Okay, weight loss. That's the big one. What's that meme on Facebook now? People just going to be in people's way at the gym in January. Y'all just going to be in them people's way because everybody has really good intentions that first of the year, and then you just kind of fall down. So what else? What are some other goals? And they don't necessarily have to be health. They can just be general goals. Yeah. Consistency and exercise. That's a good one. Eating better. Yes, that's a good one. So, and with that, a lot of us start strong, kind of the same thing, and then we just kind of fall off. So how many of us actually meet those goals? Okay, for a little while. Thank you for being honest, Aunt Sheila. So we meet them for a little while, and then we kind of fall off the wagon, right? So why do you feel like you do that? What do you feel like keeps you from reaching your goals every year? Why do you have to set the same New Year's resolutions every single year?
Not really committed.
Thank you, Brother Jones. We're not committed. Not enough discipline. I like that. Not a clear plan. We're going to talk about that today. Anybody else? I mean, that about sums it up, honestly, right? So, plot twist. You are the problem.
Oh, no.
You are the reason why you're not reaching your goals. So that's the number one thing, guys, what we want to identify. We want to identify the problem. So we've said you are the problem. But why? Why are you the problem? We've already talked about some of it today. We have a lack of discipline. We're not consistent. We're not holding ourselves accountable. And also, guys, we come up with a lot of excuses. I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to go to the grocery store and meal prep. I don't have time to eat healthy. I've eaten healthy like this. I've eaten like this all of my life. Why do I feel like I need to change now? I'll just take the medicines that the doctor gave me, and that will solve my issues. Are these some of the things that we tell ourselves? Okay, so we've got to get past that, y'all, and really break through and get through these excuses, because all these excuses are doing are just holding us back. So number one, identify. Number two, we want to rewire our thinking, rewire our mindset. So I find that a lot of people on their health journey are just really negative. They're just we can just be the hardest people on ourselves. Like we can talk the meanest to ourselves. We want a lot of the things that we tell ourselves, we would never say to somebody else, but we can just be really hard on ourselves. So I also find that we have a lot of limiting beliefs when it comes to our thinking. So a lot of times people will come to me and they'll say, Maggie, I want to lose weight, but I only want to lose 20 pounds or 10 pounds. Or they'll say, I just want to feel better. Like, I just want more energy. But really, as we dive deeper into it, I find that, yeah, they want to feel better. Yeah, they want to lose 10 pounds, but they really want to lose 50 pounds, or they want to lose 60 pounds, but they don't feel like they can do it, so they limit themselves. So we're in church, and we always say these cliches, and we quote these scriptures, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Nothing is too hard for God. I can do anything. We just tell ourselves these things. But then when it comes to our goals and things that we set forward for ourselves, we limit ourselves. And why is that? Fear. Maybe fear of not wanting to work too hard because we know that it's going to take a lot of commitment and sacrifice and discipline to do these things. You have to find that reason for yourselves. So I want us to really rewire our thinking and our mindset, and to make sure that we're thinking positive and that we realize that we can achieve anything that we put our mind to. Anything, y'all, especially since we are believers. So the piece of paper in front of you all, and if you need a pen, just let me know. But I want us to write down 3 health goals. And I want you to be as specific as possible, okay? Specific and honest as possible. Because like I said, some people will say they only want to lose 10 pounds, they'll tell me, but really they want to lose 50. So be honest. Got it. Hey. So let's take a few minutes and do that. Write down 3 health goals. And then I'm going to have a couple people to share. And I'm going to write some down too. All right, I'll give y'all about 30 more seconds. All right, so who wants to share? You don't have to share all three, but maybe if you want to share one. What are 3 health goals that you have? Brother Graham? Okay, you want to eat healthier. It's a good one.
Improve physical activities.
Improve physical activity.
Change my mindset about eating.
That's a tough one, huh? Especially if you've been thinking that way for a long time. That can be a challenge.
Drink more water.
Like
a liter.
Yes. A lot of people say, I drink water, and then we deep dive, and I find out they drink like 12 ounces a day. Okay, Sister Charlene?
I have a tendency to eat too fast.
That's a good one. So slow down. Slow down.
Maggie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nobody's mentioned stress. Reducing my stress.
Yes, that's a good one.
Stress eating.
Yes, yes. And actually, I made a post not too long ago that said that food is the most abused anxiety drug. A lot of times we eat when we're happy, we eat when we're sad, no matter the circumstance, we will implement, especially people of a darker hue, will emphasize food in most of our activities. So that's a good one. That's a really good one. Okay, and so mine, I'll go to the next slide and then I'll share. So now, those were all really good goals. So now you need to develop a plan. How are you going to make that happen? And so, for instance, my goal was I want to exercise at least 3 times per week. Okay, so what do I have to do in order to do that? One, I have a gym membership. So keep my gym membership current. Figure out what time I want to go. I want to go at 6 a.m. because that's the best one for my schedule. So what do I have to do in order to get to the gym at 6 a.m. and then be able to get to work?
You got to motivate yourself.
Exactly. And so I've got in addition to changing my mindset and motivate myself, I have to have a plan. So my plan is I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and I have a task list of everything that I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the house at a certain time because it takes a lot of preparation, especially if I'm going from the gym to work. And then especially like if you want to do other things, like maybe have prayer time, meditation, eat breakfast, do different things like that. So I write down exactly what I'm going to do in the morning so that I can be at the gym at 6 a.m. So I want you all to take the time to do that right now. Because that's one reason, y'all, why we're not meeting our goals. We'll say things like, I want to eat healthier. Okay, but what does that look like? What are you going to do? So let's take a few minutes, and you don't have to do it for all your goals that you wrote down, but at least for one, write down a plan. What am I going to do in order to eat healthier? What am I going to do in order to change my mindset about food? Let's really think through this, y'all. Now, a couple minutes. And two, some of the things that I'm telling you all to do today, it may require some homework. You may have to go home. Well, you will, honestly. If you really want this bad enough, you're going to have to go home and think about this a little bit more. Write out your goals. Make a plan for each individual goal that you've set. And really think about it in a place where you can just kind of be quiet and be alone. Okay, I see a few people are done. Would anybody like to share their plan for one of their goals? Did you need a pen? Oh, paper.
Sure.
Okay, Brother Grant.
I have to be selective with the foods that
Okay, so that may look like, Brother Grant, just to dive a little deeper, that may mean you making a grocery list, sitting at home, making a grocery list, making a menu for the week and basing a grocery list based on that, so that when you go in the grocery store, you have a plan, you know exactly what you're going in for, and you're staying focused. So that's a way to take it even deeper, y'all. Anybody else have one? Let's get at least 2 more people. We're going to help each other by sharing. You don't want to share? Okay. Okay.
I have to limit my intake no matter what.
Limit your intake. So you mean how much you're eating?
Yes.
Okay. That's a good one. Some of us are overeaters, the clean your plate era. This is an older generation. Brother Mitchell.
I plan to vary my workout routine so I don't hit a plateau.
Okay. So how are you going to do that, Brother Mitchell?
So I have a set workout plan that I'm doing now.
Uh-huh.
And when I finish it, I'll start a new one, but I'll do a different workout routine. So I don't hit a plateau doing, I'm only going to do this many sit-ups or walk this many miles. It gives my body a chance to grow and evolve instead of just hitting a plateau and doing the same thing every day and getting bored.
Right, right. So do you do research on the type of what program you're going to do? And
So I'll do a phase where I'm doing strength training. Then I'll do a phase when I'm working on cardio, and a phase when I'm working on stretching and limber, staying limber, so my joints and muscles don't get stiff. So very different workouts every day, but even though I'm doing a set program now, I'll vary that program next time.
See how specific he is, y'all? He has a plan. That's how specific I want y'all to be. One more person at least. Okay.
I'll share. So I want to be able to obtain a weight goal and maintain that health instead of going up and down.
Okay.
So in order to
It's a
do
good
that,
one.
I want to be able to practice intermittent fasting.
Okay.
No sugar, watch portion sizes, increase fruit and veggie servings, and avoid emotional eating.
Oh, okay. I love it. I love it. What'd you say, Brother Grant?
What did she say?
Oh, okay. Can you say that a little louder?
Yes, I can. I said practice intermittent fasting, no sugar, watch portion sizes, increase fruit and veggie servings, and avoid emotional eating.
Okay. Yeah, that was really good. Anybody else want to share before we move on? That was really good. And honestly, y'all, that's what I mean. You have to be specific.
I need to cook more.
Oh, that's a good one. I tell all my
I'm
clients.
about ready. I found out something, and it's strange that you never know, but my neighbor told me, she said, you get them Carolina meals? And she came in my apartment, and she said, look how much sodium's in them. And I called Caroline, and it's like, I said, ma'am, I'm not trying to start an argument. I'm trying to ask you, why do you give, I mean, I love the meals, but the thing is, y'all have too much sodium. And
Sure.
she said, we don't do that, that's just the government.
Sure.
And it just, I'm just gonna quit them because, I mean, every day I get them, they give you more bread. Good Lord, I got enough bread to open a factory with. And cookies and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not into cookies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to eat more fruit.
Yeah.
Trying to get off of all my medicine because when you were talking about eating, I just said, I live by myself and I don't have a car and I'm trying to get ready for May the 6th because the Lord wills, I'm going to walk more, but also I want to be able to keep up with everybody.
Sure.
The Cancer for the Walk.
Sure.
And then try to keep up, just like with my grandkids. We can go in the mall and my grandson will say, Nana, are you coming? yeah, just go on. And it's so,
Right.
I think about, and see, I had a stroke and like a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it just said, my neighbor told me, she said, well, you don't really need to lose weight. And I said, but you don't understand how I feel.
Sure.
I can tell the difference. I know I had to give away a lot of my clothes because I used to wear my skirts with buttons,
Mm-hmm.
and I can tell the difference. And when I'm bending over,
Mm-hmm.
and we have inspection, and I have to get a chair and sit down just to clean out my refrigerator because used to I could bend down. And my brother kind of helped me. He sent me something. It's called the CZ gripper,
Mm-hmm.
and it's round. It's got a handle. Looks like a shovel handle. It helps me a lot because I can pull myself up.
Right.
And
Right.
we have a fitness center. Problem is, nobody don't go up there. I don't
Well,
know why.
and I think that's an interesting point that you brought up about the government, and not to get on a soapbox, but our government is keeping us fat, y'all. Let me just say that. So even when I went to school, so I know I look young, but I've been a dietitian for a decade. And so even when we were in school, we learned that majority of your diet should come from grains. And we're about to get into this, but hey, I'm getting a little ahead, but it's fine. So we learned that a majority of your diet should be through grains. So like she said, like bread, cookies. And then we learned that you should eat a low-fat diet. So not a lot of fat, a little bit of vegetables, a little bit of fruit, but like the main emphasis was on grains. And so the food pyramid, or now it's the My Plate, but they use that as the guide for how they feed our kids in school, for how they do like our government assistant programs. And honestly, y'all, that is keeping us fat. And a lot of it is also too like the partnerships with the government. I never thought I'd be this conspiracy theorist person, but I am. And so a lot of the partnerships, like our politicians are partnering with milk companies and these grain companies and these processed food companies. And so they're pushing to our children, like we should, and just us as well, that we should eat cereal, that we should eat, that we should drink milk. And if you do research, we really don't need milk. And just all these different things. But really, a lot of it is about money. So that's why it really is important, y'all, that we educate ourselves. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but that you find what works best for your body and not just go on what you've been told, but what you've researched on your own and then based on how you feel when you eat these certain foods. So like I said, I'm going to get into that a little bit more, but I think that's an excellent point about the meals that we receive and just kind of how we've been trained. Because I grew up in the 90s era where fat was bad. Fat makes you fat. Like low fat this, low fat that. And then as I've kind of done my research and stuff, I'm like, actually, fat is not bad. Now, the types of fat that we eat is the issue, but overall, fat is not the enemy. In fact, fat is what can actually keep you skinny or lean or healthy. So, which that's actually kind of a good segue into my next point. But just to kind of reiterate, we cannot expect to reach our goals without a plan, y'all. We have to write out our goals and we have to have a specific and detailed plan of how we're going to achieve these goals. Because honestly, y'all, that's where we've been failing. Like when we first started the class and people said, I want to lose weight, I want to exercise. Like that sounds good, especially when you're talking to people. You're like, yeah, 2023, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to exercise more. But when you don't have a plan, you don't it's like you're just talking. So let's not be talkers. Let's be doers. So the next thing is rebuild. And rebuild your nutrition foundation. Rebuild your health foundation. So I found that a lot of people just do not have a basic understanding of nutrition and they don't have a basic understanding of health. They've been going, like I was saying about the government, they've been kind of just going based on what they've been told and not doing their own research and not listening to their own bodies to see what works best for them. So before I get on a tangent, what's my next slide? So it's important that you develop a solid foundation in the area of nutrition and just health in general. So, quick story. I was at Restore Wellness. So they're like this wellness company that they specialize in like all these holistic principles. So like they do red light therapy, they do saunas, they do cryotherapy, like they do all this like innovative stuff. And I walked up to a older white couple, and they looked like they were probably in their 60s or 70s. But the man had cancer, and the woman was just there to support her husband, of course. And they were doing like all these holistic things to help with his cancer before they went to Mexico for this holistic treatment because they didn't want to go the chemo or the radiation route. So while he was getting treatment, she came over to my table and we were talking. And even though she would look like she was in her 60s or 70s, like I could just look at her and tell that she took really good care of herself. And so, because you can tell when people are older, but you can just tell like, you know a little something, like you take care of yourself. And so as we talked and stuff, she was just telling me about how all these like health principles and different things that she's been doing all these years. And I was like, how did you find out about this? Like, I mean, we just were getting deep into a lot of just natural holistic stuff that I just learned about a couple years ago, but she seemed to have known for years. So I'm just like, how do you know this stuff? Like, how do you know this stuff? So she was like, well, in my 20s, she was like, I came from a family of obesity. Like all of my family was overweight, had all these diseases. And so in my 20s, I dedicated my life to learning about nutrition and making sure that I changed my family tree and how and the example that I set for my kids. So I just was like, that's amazing. Like that she had that foundation in her 20s and now she's 60 or 70 years old. And she looks amazing and is in good health because she just had a solid foundation. And y'all, that's what a lot of us need. And especially in the African American community, I feel like we are at such a disadvantage because we just haven't been taught these things. And a lot of people that are Caucasian, they learn these things. They eat differently than we do. They live differently than we do. And even y'all, sometimes people that have money. I remember I went to school with, I don't know if y'all know Dr. Williams, a gastroenterologist, but I went to school with his daughter, Jessica. And I remember in high school, she was going to the gym and exercising. And I just was like, we're kids. Like, it's supposed to be the time of our lives. But her mother was like putting things in her at a young age. And now when I see her, she looks amazing. So it's just like, we're just kind of and even when I talk to my Caucasian friends, well, when I went to do my dietetic internship, they're the ones that turned me on to exercise. Like I was not an exerciser. Like I didn't go to the gym, but a lot of them have such an advantage and we need to get it to where we have that advantage because we're going to be able to live better lives and change the trajectory of our families when we get this knowledge and when we implement it. Because what I found is that people are watching us, y'all. People are watching what you do, especially when you do a shift and you're eating healthy, you're exercising, you look better, you're nicer. People are like, what's going on? Now, people may give you a hard time initially because they're like, look at Gloria. She always eating some grass. Like, she thinks she's better than me because she got her grass and I'm eating my McDonald's. But I'm going to keep eating my McDonald's because this is what I've been doing and it's good. But really, deep down, they're like, I wish I could be like Gloria because Gloria looks good. Gloria is nice when she comes to work or when she's out and about. So it's just really important, y'all, that we get a solid foundation so we can better ourselves and so we can better our families and the people that we're around because our kids especially are watching us and our grandkids. And we want to set them up to where I was talking about that woman, how she was in her 20s and how she looks amazing. So we want to set them up for success. So one way we can do this is by, of course, getting the knowledge. And then when we get the knowledge to implement and make sure that we're eating a diet that includes a variety of macronutrients. Now, let me ask you this. Who knows what a macronutrient is? One person. Two people. This is why, y'all, we've got to get a good foundation. We've got to learn the basics of nutrition. What is a macronutrient?
What is it, fat, carb, and protein?
Yes. So macronutrients, so our food falls into one or two or all three of the categories. A macronutrient is a protein, a fat, and a carbohydrate. So we need to make sure that our diet consists of a healthy source of protein, a healthy source of fat, and a healthy source of carbohydrates, y'all, because that is the foundation to our nutrition and to a good life of abundance of health. So also, just thought about this. When it comes to nutrition, y'all, we have to stay in our lane. Okay, what do you mean by that? So a lot of times we see people, we like the way they look, we like their physique, and so we'll go up to them and we'll say, "What are you doing? Like what are you following? What exercise are you doing? What diet are you following? Like, how do you look like this?" And so they tell you exactly what they're doing. You go home and you do it for 2, 3, 4 weeks or 2 months, and you've gone the other way. You've gained weight. You look nothing like them. And you're just like, I literally did everything they said and more, and I don't look like that. And that's because, y'all, even though our bodies, like our outside structures look the same, genetically we're all different. And so what works for you may not work for me. Even I'm finding what worked for me 5 years ago does not work for me today. So you have to find what works best for you through your own research, through your own testing, and just listening to your body and really being in tune with your body. Because when we just get in the danger of the comparison game and trying to do what somebody else is doing, and that is just not always the formula. And I'll use my mother as an example. Anybody that's seen my mom, they're like, "Oh, you're so cute and little." And I have never, but prior to my health journey, I have never been cute and little. Like, but if anybody knows my brother, like, he's shaped kind of like my mom. Like he's a truck driver, and he's actually been losing weight on the road, and he's like got a 6-pack. And matter of fact, he told us he went to the doctor, and he told the doctor he was a truck driver. He was like, "No, you're not." Like, because what do truck drivers look like? They look terrible. No offense to anybody that's a truck driver, but y'all be looking terrible. But a lot of that, y'all, is genetics. He's shaped, because he does not necessarily have the best diet, but it's just the way he's shaped. He took Anita Bell's pathway, genetic pathways. So we just really have to stay in our own lane, find what works best for you, because I've never been little like them. I have to work to be this size. And a lot of you all are like me. You have to work to be this size. But I guarantee it's worth it. So identify, rewire, rebuild. So we want to identify the problem, rewire our thinking and our mindset, and rebuild our foundation when it comes to health. And so I also included like some other just general like what pillars of health, because it's really deeper than nutrition, y'all. It really just comes down to a lot of other principles. How are you sleeping? Are you going to bed at night, or are you up late on your phone watching TV? What are you doing at night? Because really we need a certain amount of sleep in order to be functional, in order for our body to do what it needs to do, because sleep is intentional, y'all. It has a purpose. God designed it like that for a purpose. So we need to be evaluating our sleep. Hydration, like someone said, they need to be drinking more water. Nutrition, which is what we've talked about today. Exercise, y'all. If you just sit and look at our bodies, we were made to move. Like literally, we were made to move. But the society that we live in today, where we've kind of become a sitting generation. We sit at our desk, we sit in the car, we sit at home on the couch. So because that's just kind of how our society is, we have to be more intentional about moving, okay? Because that's what our bodies were designed to do. Sunlight. So a lot of people demonize the sun, but everything God made is intentional, y'all. The sun, if you do your research, it actually has a lot of beneficial properties that are healing. And a lot of us are deficient in vitamin D. And a lot of that could be resolved if you just got out in the sun a little bit. So that's another thing. Nature, the trees are healing. Being out in nature is healing. So making sure that, and again, we're in a building now. You know, our houses, you know, we're always inside. But sometimes we do need to get out, get in nature, get in the sun, because there's healing properties in nature, in the trees, and in what God's created. Mindset. Like I said, we have to change the way we think, y'all. We really do. Our mindset is our most limiting factor. A lot of us could achieve our goals if we would just literally put our mind to it and just do it. But it's easier to quit. I mean, if we just think about it, like, it's easier to give up. It really is. It's easier to give up. It's easier to be like everybody else. It's easier to just conform. But it takes a lot of discipline and just mindset to go away from the crowd, to not be like everybody else, y'all. And we always tell our kids, don't do what everybody else is doing. Well, maybe you should take your own advice. Just a thought. Community. We need each other, y'all. We need each other. We saw that with COVID. A lot of people went down because of a broken heart, you know, just being alone. So we really need a sense of community and also a sense of love for ourselves. You know, my mom was talking to me. I was telling her about a situation. She was like, you know, you just need to love yourself. And I'm like, I thought I did, but after talking to you, maybe I don't. So you need to make sure that you have a good love for yourself, a love for God, a love for life, you know, and a love for family. So really, it's more to it, y'all. It's not just nutrition. It's a mindset. It's a way of life. So let's talk about a testimonial I have. So Lee came to me because he wanted to be healthier. So first, we got to the root of his problem. His problem was that he had a busy schedule and he was just starting a new night job. He was also eating out a lot and not exercising. And I have a whole theory about night shift, but we'll save that for another day. And so identify the problem. This was his problem. And really, at the end of the day, y'all, these are all excuses. They're all excuses. At the root cause, we're the problem. So he found that he was having to be prescribed more medications to control his blood pressure. He had low energy throughout the day, and his weight was increasing. So he knew that he had to make a change. Because, you know, who wants to feel like crap all the time? Like, I don't know. Like, nobody likes not feeling good. And a lot of y'all don't feel good. That's why y'all are so mean. So after identifying the problem, we set goals and we made a specific plan. And think about that, y'all. Like, a lot of times we're just like, you know, you go home after church or after work and you're like, man, so-and-so is just so, there's something about them. But, you know, we just don't know what people are struggling with. And a lot of people, I find that when we get on these calls, we dive into so much more. And a lot of times people are mean and people are the way they are just because they don't like the way they look. They don't have a lot of confidence. You know, they don't feel good. So just think about that. I'm not saying it's a excuse, but just something I just wanted to pass on. So after his setting his goals, I taught him the basics of nutrition and the basics of health, the pillars of health, and I held him accountable with weekly check-ins. So how many of us, you for instance, you were very specific when you said like what your plans were. So you know what to do, but I find that a lot of times we don't do it. So a lot of times you need to be held accountable. So that's what I did. I held him accountable with weekly check-ins. And after 12 weeks, these were his results. And let me say this. I can give you the blueprint. I can give you the tools. I can hold you accountable. But at the end of the day, you have to want it for yourself and you have to put the work in, y'all. And really, this is what this presentation is about. You. You are holding yourself back from having your best life. So after 12 weeks, these were his results. So he lost a total of 30 pounds. And I tell people, like, when you work with me, yeah, it's really good. A lot of people want fast results. So this took 3 months for him to lose 30 pounds. And a lot of people want fast results. But when you're doing it right, y'all, you're not going to lose it in a week. You're not going to lose it in 2 weeks. It's going to take some time. And honestly, I tell people when they work with me for 12 weeks, really that's kind of just a jump start. Because if you're consistent and you keep doing what you're doing throughout the year, you'll lean out and look and lose even more weight. So you just have to be consistent and want it for yourself. So this is what his reports, what he said. He said, I went to the cardiologist today. That was his blood pressure. They were happy with my weight loss, and so was my doctor. So he says, working with me, it's been great. I wouldn't even call it a diet. So far, that wouldn't he call it a diet? Because it's not. So far, I've lost 30 pounds. My blood pressure is great, and I feel so much better. And he doesn't mind promoting me, so he asked. And so because he was committed to his health journey and he wanted to make a change, he inspired his wife. And she did it with him, and she lost 20 pounds. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. We influence people when we're doing the right thing, when we're wanting to make a good change, we inspire people. And that can even be the same with bad. You know, a lot of people say when they get married, they gain weight. That's another topic. So let's revisit my initial point. So some of you gave reasons as to why you're not able to reach your goals. So if we're being honest, it all comes down to a lack of discipline and accountability. So when we don't take responsibility for our health, we are subjecting ourselves to debilitating diseases and decreased quality of life. So usually when I talk to people, they say, I want to live till I'm 70, I want to live till I'm 80, I want to live till I'm 90. Like people, well, I want to die, but not today. And so, but it's like, I just want us to think about this for a minute. What is the point of reaching 70, 80, 90 if you're chained to a bed? If you can't go anywhere? If you're chained to a hospital bed? Like, if you can't if you can't play with your grandkids? Like what's the point? Just think about that, y'all. And when I worked in the ICU, that's what I saw every day. Like people were in there with things that were preventable. And sick. A lot of it was smoking. A lot of it was just not eating healthy. A lot of it was not exercising, y'all. And over time, it just takes a major toll on your body. And the body can only tolerate so much before it gives up. Now, I think the amazing things about our body is that we are resilient, and that and the body is self-correcting. And so when we implement things and do healthier things for our body, implement all those pillars of health, you can improve. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to be the perfect bill of health as if you would have started when you were earlier in life, but the body has the ability to be super self-correcting. Just think about it with cuts. You know, how the body heals itself. So even from an internal standpoint, the body is able to heal itself when we treat it right. So just think about that. And even, we've got a couple preachers and elders in here. Job, didn't they say he lived to be 120 years old and he was full of life? Like, how many people are 70 and 80 and can say they're full of life? Let's think about this, y'all. Like, really sit and think about this. What's the point of getting older if you're a burden on other people? Now, okay. Some people get in car accidents. Like, some things are inevitable. Like, you may get in car accident. Like, everybody's in the hospital and that's chained to a bed. It's not because they didn't do right by their bodies. But some of us, that is the reason why we're not able to have an abundant life, is just because we haven't treated our bodies well. So let's change the way that we think about that. So, which God wants us to have an abundant life, but we have a responsibility to put in the work. Good health will not magically come to you. You have to make it a lifelong commitment. And y'all, that can be a challenge. Because like I said, we're just a quick fix society, and we want things quick, and then we want those quick results to last. But your commitment to your health is lifelong, and it's going to be something that you have to be consistent with. So, what if I told you I had a solution that would help you stay on track, teach you the basics of nutrition, and jumpstart your goals for the new year? Would you be interested? What? Okay. I heard a bunch of mumbling. That's why I had to reiterate. So I'm introducing my 2023 Banging Body Boot Camp. So this is a 4-week group coaching program that will educate you on the basics of nutrition, hold you accountable, and provide you with a sense of community. And honestly, y'all, that's what I love about group coaching is because you're not by yourself. Because, you know, when you do your one-on-one, like you've got me, but I just feel like it's just something about having people that are in line with, like, that y'all like on the same trajectory, like that y'all want the same things. And so that's what this group coaching program will do. It provides you with a sense of community. And so it will start Monday, January 30th, and it will end Monday, February 26th. And so before I show you all the next slide, y'all, I am probably, and my dad is out there, I don't know if he's listening, I am probably one of the cheapest people in this room. I hold on to a penny. And what I found, though, is that sometimes we have to invest in ourselves. We have to. And when it comes to our health, I feel like there is really not an amount you can put on it. Because when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, losing weight, feeling better, having more confidence, changing your family tree, setting it up where, like I said, your kids are in high school exercising or involved in sports and, you know, and not eating a bunch of junk food. Like there's really not a price that you can put on that. So I really want to encourage us to invest in yourself and realize that everything's not going to be free. So what will this include? What will this 4-week group coaching program include? So it's going to include a deep dive with me on Zoom. So we'll talk. I'll dive a little bit deeper into your problem. Like we said, identify the problem and really just kind of see what your habits are. Are you exercising? Are you skipping meals? What are you eating? Are you cooking? So we kind of... That means no, whoever laughed. So we just kind of dive deep into what's going on with you because like I said, y'all, nutrition is individualized. And so we need to find something that's going to work best for you and something that you'll be able to maintain. So that's what we'll do with the deep dive. I'll learn more about you and then we'll come up with the individualized plan that's going to work best for you. And then we have a weekly group coaching Zoom call. So every week on a Monday, we'll get together. I'll have a nutrition topic that I present to you all. And then you all will have the opportunity to ask questions. And also something that I'm going to make sure that we do, and I think that we did, Sister King, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we would talk about our wins, like something that's working well for us. And then probably on that first coaching call, we'll go over our goals. Because bear each other's burdens, say it out loud. Because, you know, sometimes when you say things out loud, you put it into the atmosphere. And now that other people have heard it, they have to hold you accountable. Like, oh, now didn't you say that you were going to? You're like, oh, yeah, I did say that. So that first session, that will be what we're talking about. We're giving goals. We're saying where we want to be. And then moving forward, we talk about our wins and share, you know, just things that have worked out for us that are working. So you'll also have access to nutritional resources, and then you'll get daily accountability. So I have a app on your phone where when we do your deep dive, I'll give you a checkoff list of items that you'll do on a daily basis. So for Brother Mitchell, it may be exercise, it may be drink this amount of water, it may be to eat this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like it'll be customized to you. And so if you did it, you'll check off that you did it, and I'll be able to see it. And so then when we get on our weekly call, I'll be like, hey, okay, you know, Brother Mitchell, like make sure, great job this week. Just make sure that you're getting that water intake. And so it just helps that somebody is looking at what you're doing on a daily basis and that they're holding you accountable in the process. And then also I'll provide you with a sample meal plan for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so, because I find that a lot of people, they know what they should be eating, but they're like, I just kind of want a guide, like a blueprint. So I tell people don't treat it like a Bible, but just something that is helpful for a lot of people just to get an idea of what they should be eating. So the investment, usually this course is $600, but today it's $397, and it can be paid in full, or you can pay in 2 installments or 3 installments. And so the last day to register is January 25th, because we're going to start January 30th. And then after that, if you sign up after this day and then before the 30th, the price will increase to $497. So I want to thank you all for being here. Like I said, I was under an hour. So like I said, you could be doing anything on a Saturday. So I appreciate you all coming and taking the time to listen and to learn more about nutrition. And so if you have any questions, and it can be if you have questions about the program, come talk to me after. But if you have just any general questions about what was presented today, you may ask them now. Okay.
I have a couple of questions, and maybe I need to talk to you privately.
Okay.
But, just a quick question about your thoughts about intermittent fasting, and also do you like the dangers of yo-yo dieting, like, of course, going up and down, and not maintaining loss?
Yeah, that's a good question. So like I said, I think nutrition is super individualized, and I think you have to find what works best for you. So intermittent fasting works well for a lot of people. Do you intermittent fast?
Yes.
So it works well for some, but I find that it doesn't work as well for others, especially if you're a diabetic. A big thing is managing your blood sugar and making sure that you're maintaining a steady blood sugar. And so if you're doing intermittent fasting, then your blood sugar may drop a little bit lower than it needs to be, and that could put you into a diabetic coma. So for diabetics, I wouldn't recommend necessarily doing it, but if I would just kind of play with your windows and just find something that works best for you. Yeah, so that's just kind of learning about your body. As far as yo-yo dieting, I probably tried every diet, except juicing. I wasn't really into juicing. I need food. But I think that yo-yo dieting, is terrible. And I think that it can just do a number on your metabolism. And I think that that's why some people, down the road, end up having, a really hard time losing weight, is because those diets just kind of wreak havoc on your body. And like we were talking about with macronutrients, so that's a protein, a fat, and a carb. And a lot of those those fad diets, they usually omit a food group. And we need all those food groups, y'all, to be healthy, because each of them has a purpose. So, yeah, I don't recommend it. I recommend doing something that you can follow for the rest of your life, that you can maintain. Because what good is it if you lose 20 pounds in a month and then you gain it all back? And usually people don't gain it all back. They gain it all back and more. Brother Mitchell.
Do you have, two questions. Do you take Cash App or PayPal?
I take PayPal.
PayPal. Okay.
Yes.
The second question is, do you recommend a detox or a specific detox program?
That's a good question, Brother Mitchell. So our bodies, naturally detox, y'all. God thought of it all. So yeah, our bodies are naturally detoxing mechanisms. So now I'm giving away my secrets, but I do actually recommend a detox, but it's still with whole foods. It's just certain food groups that I would recommend that you eliminate, and I would probably only limit the detox to 10 days. And I tell my clients that we can determine how hard you want to go, because I feel like my approach, it's pretty consistent, something you can follow for the rest of your life. But there are some things that I feel like we can eliminate that would detox the body more efficiently and would maybe even help you reach your goals a little bit better. So yes, I do recommend a detox, but it's still with healthy whole foods. It would just be main group I would eliminate is whole grains. Yeah, because whole grains are pretty inflammatory for some people.
On the breakfast, lunch, and dinner plan, are you allowed to have carbs daily, or do you have to go some days without carbs?
No. Macronutrients, protein, fat, carb. You'll learn this in my program. I don't recommend eliminating any food group. No carb. So that's a big thing now, no carb. And you will lose weight. You'll lose weight if you don't have carb. But really, y'all, that's impossible. And we talk about what a carb is in the program, and you'll see why I'm saying it's impossible to eliminate carbs, because carbs are food that you don't even realize. And they've been demonized.
Good question. What was the price again, and what is intermittent fasting?
That's a good question.
What does it consist of?
So intermittent fasting. So it's just basically, layman's terms, you're not eating for a certain amount of time. And so people have different windows. Like they may go 18 hours where they fast, and then 6 hours windows where they eat. Or, but there are like different time frames. 18, 6, 12, 8. Is that 24? 12, 8. Like 12 hours where you don't eat, 8 hours where you're on.
Wait, so don't eat nothing?
Right. You're not eating anything. You're just drinking. You're just drinking water and I would think tea, like things that are pretty clear. Yeah. So it's not for everyone, y'all, but some people say that it's the holy grail of health. But you know what? Honestly, hold on, Sister King. Honestly, well, I'll just say that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say, and Maggie did not tell me to say this.
She's not a plant, as my mom would say. She's not a plant.
She did not. And I took the challenge in November, and I'm glad I did. Because I learned so much, and so much I didn't know about my health and all that good stuff. And we did the 6-week challenge, and on that 6 weeks I lost 6 pounds, and so far I have lost 9 pounds. And I'm continuing on what Maggie has taught me, and my goal is to get off of my diabetic medication. I have not done that yet, but that's my goal. And I just wanted to put that plug in on the Zoom that she's talking about. It was, it's good because it was personal, and there were 2 other people on, and we enjoyed interacting with our activities and things like that. But I'm thankful I took the challenge, and I think if you all do it, you'll be glad you did.
Thank you. I know you're not a plant. Again, I'm saying. Because when we get in the car, my mama going to be like, well, the last class, my mama was like, was Brother Mitchell a plant? So I know she going to say, was Thelma a plant? And no, she was not, Anita. She was not a plant. But again, and tell me if I'm wrong, I challenged your thinking and your approach to food.
Right, you did.
So, yeah.
You did. You challenged me, and like I said, I just learned so much. And like she said, she challenged you. You're gonna do well, because when you get on that Zoom, you don't want to have regressed or anything.
Right, that accountability. Yep.
You have that accountability. So, like I said, it was good for me, and I'm thankful I took that challenge. And I'm still working on being healthier, and I do pray that I get to my goal of getting off of that diabetic med.
Yes.
That's my biggest goal.
Yes. Yes. And you will. You will. So thank you for sharing that, Sister King. Sister Pat.
You got the installment. Whether you don't pay all your money today, do you still get in class?
Yeah. So we'll work out a payment plan on how often you would like to pay.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
I was going to say, if you also think about the time frame, with the holidays and everything else, because I know I gained a good time.
That was one of the reasons I didn't want to take it. We had Thanksgiving
And you were traveling. You had some additional traveling. Yeah.
And,
Yeah, outside of the holidays, yeah.
and then, my water, intake, I had to increase that, but I just went with with my vitamins, I should have drank more. I think that I should have been like at 94 ounces, but I could only do 64 because that was just too much. You know, with my daily activity,
Right.
traveling, but I did make it with my 64 ounces, and I was thankful for that, and I didn't let that bother me.
Right. And I think that's a good point is because I tell you what you should be doing, but I'm realistic as well. Like, you're not going to go from not cooking, eating out every day, drinking 12 ounces of water to now all of a sudden you're doing everything I tell you. So we create a doable plan and something that that you can eat. Because a lot of people aren't cold turkey people. Like, I'm cold turkey. Brother Mitchell is a cold turkey person, but a lot of us aren't like that. So, like I said, and that's what we dive into with the deep dive. See what your personality is and do what works best for you to support your goals. Okay, Brother Mitchell.
This really does work when even if you're not as committed, just by participating, it'll get you on a more health-focused role. Y'all don't know this, but I've developed
I just love Brother Mitchell.
I developed what's that thing called when you keep doing something over? It's a bad habit. I was an addiction.
Yeah.
I developed an addiction to cinnamon rolls.
I was not expecting that. I was not expecting. Okay.
During the pandemic, I started out great, losing weight, exercising, over-exercising, doing more. And last 6 months or so, got addicted to cinnamon rolls. Picked up some extra weight and was kicking myself. Came to Maggie's nutrition back in November. Said, Maggie, thanks for the reminder. She don't even know.
He never told me this. Yeah, he never told me this.
But after coming and just sitting in here, I recommitted myself. I said, I don't need these cinnamon rolls, and I can.
Use me, Lord. Let me stop.
She talked about no sugar, and I'm like, I know better. I had one relapse, but I was committed. Got off the cinnamon rolls and dropped some weight, and I think I dropped 6 pounds.
Nice, Brother Mitchell. Nice.
So I'm going to go on and dive in with you, Maggie, and get some additional encouragement. I know you don't need me to be, but
no, but I like you. I like having you around. I do. Brother Mitchell is like my second dad, y'all. I've probably been on more trips with him than my own family. And to your point about the cinnamon rolls, were they homemade or y'all were going somewhere?
They were fresh market.
Oh, okay.
Like a croissant with cinnamon and ice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk myself out of it.
Right. Just stop. Just stop. Look, I just asked him where, and he done got into all that. But y'all, I made a post about this on Facebook not too long ago, but sugar is is more addictive than cocaine. I'm serious, y'all. There have been studies on this that it is more addictive than cocaine, and you wonder why when you because if you think about it, it's like, why can I eat like all this candy, but I won't overeat broccoli or I won't overeat, chicken. But when it comes to sugar and different things like that, I mean, we can just go overboard. And it's because it's just so addictive, y'all. Now, I'm not saying don't ever have a cinnamon roll or don't ever have sugar, but you got to know yourself. You really have to know yourself. Some people can have one and they can stop. Others, it just is something that just triggers you. Like for me, if I go to Community Bakery Friday night, it's like I'm thinking about it all weekend. Like I'm like, I gotta go back. Ooh, and it was calling my name last night, but I was like, bah, I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to be there all weekend. So sometimes you just have to tell yourself no. So any more questions? Okay. Well, thank you all for being here. Come talk to me if you are interested in the group program. And thank you all for coming. And we got some snacks out there.